Howdy partners, it's your old buddy the Reddit writer. Welcome back to the Reddit Ranch. Come in and sit a spell and listen to the mighty fine tales I gotta tell. Today we're gonna start with one by a little lady that wants to divorce her hubby, but he's against it.
My husband won't accept divorce. I'm being guilted into helping him. I'm 28, and I told my husband back in January that I wanted a divorce. A little backstory: we talked in May of last year about our relationship, explaining that I need more. He doesn't help with literally anything, and these are the things I needed him to do. I told him he had until the end of the year to show me he's serious. He didn't change at all, so I stuck to my word and asked for a divorce. After January, we didn't speak for 6 weeks, and when we did, I mentioned the divorce. Cycle repeats every 6 weeks. I was hoping that by May or so, of my mind not changing, he would come around and accept it, but he's just digging his heels in even more. My main issue is in January we received a notice that the conditions for his green card would be lifted after submitting a form, due end of April. He didn't do anything with it. He waited until after the deadline, May, and then brought it up, saying that he was just going to go back to his home country once we divorced, so he didn't care. I told him he was being irrational and that he needed to think of the future. He said no and that he was going home. I said okay, and I didn't file anything. This really isn't even something I should file for him. He needs to do it, not me. A big issue in our marriage was that I have had to mother him for the past 6 years, and here I am trying to exit the relationship and I'm still taking care of him. He's now asking that I submit the papers and we stay living together until the card comes, and divorcing a year or so after. I said I would think about it and then countered that he has to move out before I do anything. Now he is begging and asking me to give us another chance, that he wants to try again, etc., etc. I told him he has 2 choices: green card and stop begging me to stay and move out, or stay and I finalize the divorce. He's now saying that he doesn't care about the green card. Our marriage is more important, blah blah. All stupid stuff that is pure BS. But I feel so guilty. I am struggling with this overwhelming guilt and it's crushing me. I want him out. I want to finalize the divorce and move on with my life. But I feel guilty if I move forward and he loses out on the green card. I also know that his quality of life is going to go downhill once I leave. Home country is great, but he comes from a lower income household and that's where he would go back. But he's going through my things now, flipping between guilting and begging me, and I just don't know how much longer I can do this. Do I submit the divorce papers and move on with my life? Or spend another 6 months to a year being guilt? Either way, I am going to feel or be guilt. I just want to know that I'm not an a-hole if I move forward with the divorce.
Well ma'am, I hate to tell you, but I plumb reckon y'all are being used just so your hubby can get a green card. I think it would be wise to just go ahead with the divorce. Nothing that happens to him is on you, it's all on him. I know y'all want to help him, but you can't keep someone else warm by setting yourself on fire. Next we got one from a woman that wants to know if she's a cow patty for not obliging her sister-in-law when she says she wants to buy the OP's house. Well, buying might be the wrong word. More like the sister-in-law wants to be given the house.
AITA for refusing to sell my house to my sister. I'm 36 and my husband and I recently moved into a new house. We were still in the process of selling our old place when we got invited to a family dinner with my husband's mother. We were talking about our new house when my sister-in-law brought up the fact that she too was buying a new place. However, when we asked her about it, she told us that she was intending to move into our old house. At first I was very open to selling her the house to her because she is expecting a child soon, and was looking to move out of my mother-in-law's. But when I asked her what she was going to offer, she laughed it off and said, "We're family, can't you just give it to me?" At first I thought she was joking, but then she went on talking about how my husband and are so well off that we don't need the money. This caught me extremely off guard, especially as my mother-in-law started agreeing with her and expressing how my sister-in-law needs to save money for the baby, and how we should just give her the house. I looked over at my husband, who seemed to be in disagreement, but wasn't willing to speak up. When I told her we weren't willing to give it to her for free, she and my mother-in-law got very upset, which resulted in us leaving dinner early. Ever since then, my husband's sister has been messaging and calling us non-stop, calling us all sorts of names while simultaneously asking when she will be able to tour her new home. So am I the a-hole?
No ma'am, there ain't no way you could be a cow patty in this story. Your husband's kinfolk hits a new level of entitlement though. I mean, to just assume that y'all will just give her the house. I think their Stetson is a couple sizes too small. Next, we got one by a mother that is all set to throw a birthday party for her younging who's just turning 1. The problem though, is her mother-in-law. She wants to make it all about herself. Funny how some folks have such an easy time doing that, ain't it?
Mother-in-law makes daughter's first birthday about her. Today was my daughter's first birthday party. I was super excited because 1, this is me and my fiancé's first kid, but also because we were excited to celebrate our daughter's big 1 year. I will preface this by my mother-in-law grates on me. She is a very loud and proud personality who takes charge of any gathering even when she isn't asked. Especially when she isn't asked. I had made it clear that we had the organization and planning of the party, and wouldn't need any assistance other than what we asked of everyone, which was to bring a side dish. My daughter's birthday theme was berry first with strawberries, etc. Mother-in-law stated, okay, strawberry shortcake themed. I explained no, it was a berry kind of themed party, and we had a strawberry outfit and crown for my daughter and showed lots of pictures to give her an idea. She stated that my idea was boring, and my daughter would rather have a strawberry shortcake theme, as in the toy and TV show Strawberry Shortcake. I told her that she was 1, didn't know strawberry shortcake, and we had the party. This proceeded with her continuously buying strawberry shortcake themed goodies for us to use to save us money. We gave it back each time explaining no, it wasn't on theme, but we appreciated her effort. Come day of the party, I asked everyone to arrive at 1 o'clock for the party. MIL shows up at 11 o'clock with her assortment of strawberry shortcake themed party goods and starts demanding my fiancé to start putting things up. Fiancé has to tell her no repeatedly and take down items that she continues to try and put up over our decorations. Once everyone from my family comes, she settles down on at least decorations. Especially because my sister and mother shoot her down and point out that this is mine and my fiancé's daughter, and not hers, and she doesn't get to dictate a theme. Things unfortunately don't get better from there, as mother-in-law starts taking little one away to open her presents early, dictate that the smash cake isn't appropriate and is sin for wasting, and overall choosing to butt in and control things during the party. My sister is somewhat tilted at this point and ready to act as bouncer and ask her to leave. I explained to my fiancé that he needed to get his mother under control, as she was trying to take the limelight for herself, make the party about her. This caused mother-in-law to pout as she huffed in the corner, ranting to her side of the family that I was being a controlling witch. We finish presents and I bring out the cake to sing happy birthday, and mother-in-law snatches it to sing to her instead, leaving me at this point rattled and tilted as well. Fiancé had to take my mother-in-law outside to explain she needed to back off and allow us to take control of the party as it's our house, and our kid. She got to host birthdays for all 6 of her kids' 18 birthdays, and she needed to allow us to enjoy and do the same. While fiancé was doing this, I decided to go ahead and let daughter start on her smash cake, and everyone starts taking photos and cooing after her. Not even a few minutes into this, mother-in-law comes back in and screeches about us starting without her, which startles little one into a crying fit, and she begins to not want anything to do with the cake because she thinks mother-in-law was yelling at her. Fiancé had to escort mother-in-law out to leave after this, but the party didn't really pick up momentum after this, as my daughter was fussy and upset for the rest of the party. Basically, mother-in-law spent the whole party trying to take charge and ended up spoiling the day for my daughter and the highlight of her first birthday, all because it wasn't about her. It feels silly, and I know that my daughter won't remember it, but it feels like this day was taken away from us and will always remember her first birthday as struggling for control from my mother-in-law. My parents and grandparents were pretty upset and offered to pay for a smash cake and have a private party with my side of the family to make up for it, but it just didn't feel the same. I just needed to rant this out because I'm just overall upset about it. But maybe I'm also being ridiculous. Who knows? If you got this far, thanks for reading.
Well, it's easy to figure out why I love my mother-in-law, 'cause she ain't nothing like that woman. Just think, ma'am, y'all still got a wedding to plan. If she acts like this over a younging's birthday party, just imagine what she'll be like when it comes to planning a wedding. Just remember, there ain't no shame in just running off and eloping. Our last tale comes from a young filly that has to use sign language to talk to her ma, but her boyfriend's ma doesn't like it.
AITA for using American Sign Language when my boyfriend's mother was talking during dinner at a restaurant? And charging her for the meal? I'm 20 and my boyfriend is 23, and we've been seeing each other for 4 months. We've been hitting it off really well, and though I had reservations about meeting his family so soon, I managed to get along with his 2 younger sisters and his dad, but his mom doesn't really like me. I met them for the first time over dinner at his parents' place, and though everything was fine, the mom let me know about the type of expectations she had for the girlfriend of her only son. She was plenty friendly over the meal, but when she started crying and freaking out about the daddy long-leg spider on the corner of the room, it was really weird. My own mother and my roommate are similar about their uncomfortableness around bugs, but the weird part was how nobody else reacted to her doing that. Spiders, especially daddy long legs, are not aggressive, since this particular spider isn't venomous, and how I'm not afraid of insects. I quickly grabbed it with my hands, tossed it, washed my hands and sat back down at the table. After an awkward silence, his mom was upset at me for touching it and told me that it's up to the men to do dirty work like that, following up with, "If you come and visit more often, maybe we could help you with that." I responded with a sarcastic, "I'm sure you would," to which one of the sisters giggled. His mom then said that if I have a problem I should handle it like an adult. After that interaction I haven't been to his parents' place since. But kind of abruptly, my parents that live 2 towns over were passing through my town for work. I told my boyfriend this and said that if he's interested and able we can have a sit down with them for dinner. He was excited and suggested we go to a local restaurant. I came to the place with my parents since he told me he would meet me there later, and I was shocked to see that he had also brought his mother and one of his sisters. Fortunately, my parents were pleasantly surprised about this, but I was not. I privately asked my boyfriend why he brought his mom and sister without telling me. He said that he was too nervous to meet them alone, and his mom happened to run into him after picking up his sister from practice and it slipped out. I introduced my parents to my boyfriend, his mother and sister. My mother is deaf as a result of an accident when I was little. Though she is good at lip reading, I also sign while I talk just to be helpful. My boyfriend's mother was initially confused of the hand movements, and once I explained to her that it was to help communicate to my deaf mother, she thought that it was funny and neat. Once seated, I continued to sign to my mom about what everyone was saying. This included what the waiter said and things she missed because she wasn't looking. My boyfriend said that his mom was wondering if I have to really throw my arms around when I'm signing to my mother, as it was distracting and was making a scene at such a nice location. I think my brain went stop. Hold. Rebooting. For me to come out with a what? My mom was seated across the table from me next to his sister in order for her to see me directly. I gave him and his mom the benefit of the doubt and thought, oh, she must just be concerned that I'm gonna knock something over and then make a small scene. I told him that she doesn't need to worry about it. Already hearing my response, she whispered to my boyfriend, who in turn leaned to me saying that she was talking about the movements general. She doesn't care about small ones, but the big ones are a bit much. Some signs you do require additional movement, such as leaning in faster and bigger hand and arm movement, and if you don't do it like that it could have a different meaning. I said no, I won't do that since it's not fair to my mom. I saw his mother leaning to him to say something, to which I yanked him away from her and just said, "Why are you leaning to him?" "I'm right here," she said. "I'm whispering to avoid making your mother uncomfortable. She's deaf, she can't hear you." She again asked me if I could not do my movements so big, and I tried to explain to her that signing is precise and could be confusing if it isn't done not properly. She asked, "I thought you said she could read lips?" I responded, "She can, but it can be hard still, so I sign, like when you put subtitles on for a movie." I could see she still wasn't satisfied with my response and only wanted to hear me agree to not do it anymore. Fortunately, his sister was taking my side and trying to explain to her that it's just how it is, starting an argument between them that turned into a yelling match. I asked my boyfriend if he could just ask his mother to leave, since this was originally meant for us and my parents. Which he was upset about, but did. When his mom asked why she had to leave, I said it was because she was making a big scene at such a nice place. After she left, I continued the dinner with my parents, and my boyfriend, sister went with mom, and we had a really nice time. When the bill showed up, it was expensive, and though my boyfriend and I shared a meal since I wasn't that hungry, and my parents did the same, it was due to boyfriend's extra company. My boyfriend paid for his mother, himself and sister, while I paid for myself and my parents. On our way back to my place, he talked to me about what happened during dinner and apologized for not sticking up for me more, and how he'll talk to his mom later. I said that would be great, and jokingly said also ask her to pay for her food. When he called her, I could hear him getting angry and upset. After what seemed like half an hour, he came into the bedroom looking drained. He told me after she and his sister left, she called the rest of his family and told them that I was purposefully making her uncomfortable, and because I don't like her, I turned her son against her. I initially laughed because I was stupefied at what she was doing, but he continued to say that his mom also blames me for the now huge rift between her and the sister that was with us, and demands that I apologize to her for embarrassing her in the restaurant and to talk to the daughter. I told him I need a break from his mother for a while and said, "So that's a no on her paying you back for the dinner?" My boyfriend was a little upset at my joke and said I don't make this easy either, and that I'm not completely innocent in this situation. I told him that was BS, since he was the one that brought her in the first place without telling me, and she was the one that escalated things with me and his sister. He ultimately agrees that his mom is acting immature, but says I'm an a-hole for instigating and having her leave instead of finishing the dinner with her and just have a different dinner with my parents. So, am I the a-hole?
Well, ma'am, I think y'all might want to rethink your whole relationship. I mean, not only did your boyfriend's ma not comprehend what sign language is, she was downright rude about it. And your boyfriend wasn't much better the way he lashed out at you when y'all got home. But to answer y'all's question, well, I plumb reckon that's all the time we got today, but if y'all like this here video, then please, hit like and subscribe. It'll really make this old cowpoke smile. And if y'all got anything to say, then feel free to tell me what's on your mind down in the comments. Until y'all come back to the Reddit Ranch. Adios.